On the occasion of the Printemps des Poètes, the poet's spring, I will read from Alone Together. Observe the beauty of this ugly city, with its brilliant fruit stalls, against leprous walls, which have mocked fireballs, shielding tired, crouching people who dream of a different history. Observe the dignity of this demented city, with its profuse garbage dumps and rasping motors, which pump noise and fumes into hole-ridden streets, peopled by lab mice in bread lines, attempting normalcy. Observe the strength of this paraplegic city, with its gasless stations and waterless taps, and tenacious women with deserted laps, who wait despairing yet erect for the good old days that may never be. Mothers and daughters. She talks to her in English. She reads to her in French. She prays for her in Arabic. She dances with her in Greek. But she lullabies her in the language of her grandmother. The sway of ageless chant, the whisper of languorous jasmine, the scent of mythical time, the caress of the shadows in an olive grove, the promise of warm bread, the sweetness of consecrated wine, the memory of wordless song, the secret language of serenity. This city. 3 lovers mark us most. Our first love, the lover we choose to share our lives with, and the lover that made us suffer. Beirut is such a lover. When I write. When I write Jacaranda, I see the empty courtyard foundering in purple on a morning of war, normal life entombed. When I write Jasmine, I smell the scent of a memory from a parched tree, stripped of its leaves, in an empty, absent space. When I write Bougainvillea, I am deafened by the clamor of the empty spool, embracing the red of a perfect autumn morning that I cannot but love to distraction. When I write Frangipani, I tread on the creamy velvet of a first walk in the sleepless neighborhood, just after the shelling stopped. When I write Honeysuckle, I taste the drop of nectar hidden in the ivory filament that catches me in fragrante delicto. And now a poem to my Mediterranean roots, to Theodora in Greece. In the company of women, mothers and sisters all, I learned to work a hook, to knit the past with number 4 needles, to needlepoint my reality. In the company of women, we spun our yarn to the rhythm of stories, weaving our perceptions into our truths with brightly colored threads. In the company of women, we fashioned the notions of our silk and linen history with the cross-stitch patterns of our ergochero, our hands' work. Laughter erupting, gossip shared, tears wiped away, wisdom passed on, while the needles worked. In the company of women, stories were told and retold, were made myth by retelling. Women in the warm afternoon, weaving the woof and warp of who we are. The skills of family passed on by deed and word in the company of women. Tango. In the emptiness of the living room, I danced once more with my partner. With nothing to clasp, I put my hands on my hips and remembered that our dancing was always two unreliant solitudes, swaying silently in sync. And our last poem appeared in Sukoon magazine, and it is entitled "One is not born a Beiruti." One is not born a Beiruti. One becomes one by accepting, without negotiation or compromise, this city devoid of gardens, this mess of grizzled buildings, this chaos of smells and scents and flavors, this jungle of disheveled wires, this aging, overly made-up movie star with her poorly concealed scars. I choose Beirut as one chooses not to stop smoking. I light up the city to calm me. I inhale it to compose me. I extinguish it so that I may savor it later. It tempts me with its abandon. It lures me with its contradictions. The serenity of its madness offers me refuge. It is a capricious child, a fickle woman in the autumn of age, an alcoholic in denial, a cruel adolescent embracing self-indulgence, a cornered animal. It is a child whom one cherishes in spite of her temper tantrums, a virago with a heart as big as the world, an old man who loves to love, a mistress with open arms, an alley cat in all its splendor. Immolating city, you quench your thirst from our sea. You are a frenzy, a final assault, a respite.